Hey everybody, so today's episode, as you can see, bundled up because it is quite chilly outside today, and honestly kind of enjoying it. It reminds me of when I used to live in New York and it was just like cold days, and that was the norm. And I actually really love like having my coat and being all bundled up. I think the cold is more fun when you are prepared for it. Anyways, I was thinking about what I wanted to focus on today, what needed to be shared with y'all, and I usually don't talk about things that are, I would say, like instantly headlined, but I feel like this is important because of the audience that I'm wanting to speak to. And I said this, I believe, in my first episode, of really someone who is around my age, maybe younger, maybe older, and not putting a limit on it, but just in the context and the form that I'm sharing, it may or may not resonate more with you depending on where you are at in life. And so I'm sure if you have a phone, if you are in society, if you go on the socials, that you heard about the ban for TikTok. And as someone who opened an account like super late, I think I personally never was really gravitated towards it. So I didn't open an account until last year for the first time ever. And even then, when I was on it, maybe because it was new to me, or maybe just because it just wasn't in resonance, there was still some type of slight resistance, disconnect. At the same time though, I was becoming more curious about, okay, like there has to be something good here. There's a reason why people are using it. There's a reason why, so many creators come onto this platform. And yes, with everything, there is, the positive aspects and the negative aspects. And yes, there is a lot of people that can become highly addictive, not just to that specific platform, but any platform, or just having to pick up their phone in general. And at the same time, this thing that you see me on is a tool. It is a essential resource that has made it possible to make communication easier. Because if you think about going however many centuries or decades back, we didn't have this. We just needed to write and mail, or whatever process they use, and that took a long time. It wasn't as easy for someone in Singapore to communicate with someone in the US. But we have these tools and it makes it so much easier. And the thing about it is that when you are given a tool, the tool itself is neutral. The tool itself is just there, right? It's like if someone gives you a hammer. Okay, you have a hammer. First, do you need the hammer? And if so, do you know how to use the hammer? Right? Because if you don't, well, now you have a hammer, but you can't put it to use. And or you can use it, but instead of using the hammer to help build and help construct and help put something together, right? Help place something to make it stronger, firmer, you choose to use the hammer to destroy. You choose to use the hammer to cause havoc and mess and more destruction than you started with in the first place. So the hammer is very much the same as any other tool that we are given, right? And when you think about majority of people either want to use the hammer so that it can help them, right? So they're helping them, or they don't know how to use it. Majority of people, they just don't know how to use it. They never learned, and maybe they didn't feel like they needed to, right? Because someone else knows how to use the hammer, so maybe let me just ask that other person to do it for me, right? And with TikTok, I kind of felt like that. Because there's another element of what we can consider oversaturation, right? Our minds, just on the daily, are being oversaturated with things. So you really need to pick and choose what you are giving your time, attention, and energy to. And this ban, you know, we don't know if this is forever. Maybe it will be really, really short term, and it was just, you know, like a blink in the eye where we go back to normal and forget anything ever happened, which that is highly likely as well. But there is the possibility that maybe it isn't going to be there anymore. Okay, and there's always multiple options, right? Like, you can have the hammer, but maybe there's another tool in the toolbox that you actually need more, that may be more helpful for you in the specific situation that you are in. And this example also ties into the tools in your mind. Just like we can have a physical toolbox, we also have an internal toolbox. And this internal toolbox allows us to go and reach for the specific tool that we need when a certain issue, problem, or just obstacle arises, right? And like I said, sometimes you might not know how to use the tools. And if we want to take it a step even further, there could be that you don't even know that you have a toolbox in the first place. You don't even know that you had an entire toolbox, that you can get whatever you need out of that box to assist you in this present moment. So what I'm tying this into is that this obstacle, what appears as an obstacle, what can appear as a limitation, what can appear as chaotic, does not have to define how you choose to react or how you choose to solve, right? Because at the end of the day, wherever there is a problem, there will also be a solution. Wherever there is a problem, there will also be a solution. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the solution is going to come like this. It might take some experimenting, trying out different tools, maybe new tools, maybe having to teach yourself how to use the tools in order to not just kind of put a band-aid on it and put a temporary fix, but truly get to the root of the issue and solve the root of the issue. So if I go into the tool of social media and the tool of your mindset, because your social media, your algorithm, what comes up in your feed is a subconscious but also direct reflection of your mindset and what is occurring in here. So take note of what you see. Take note of how you feel when you see certain things. And just kind of do a mental scan, or maybe you can even journal out certain words, taking notes. Okay, I see this a lot. I see this a lot. I see this a lot. Why do I see this a lot? Why? How is this making me a better person? How is this feeding my mind? How is this fueling my spirit? How is this inspiring me to do better in the world or follow my dreams? How is this bringing optimism and aliveness in my day-to-day life? Questions like these can guide you to evaluate the quality of what you are watching and receiving, but also the mirror that is being held to you, that is reflecting to you what is filling your mind, what is filling your thoughts. And moving into, what does this mean for our collective? What does this mean? What does this shift mean? What does this mean for the future of social media? If one day you have a specific platform where who knows how many hours can be spent just right? And all of a sudden it's taken away. So now you have this moment in time. You have this moment in time to evaluate. And that is what is happening. That is what is being gifted at this time, is evaluation and actual time to evaluate. Because what was no longer is. What was no longer is. And you will continue to see the changes in real time, just by how you are perceiving the world and your own content and the content that you see, while also just the change in content itself, the change in branding and in messaging and marketing. All of these things are changing, you guys. It is changing in real time, and it may exponentially change to the point where something that was created last year will have no resonance, with the trajectory that we are on as a whole, as a group, as a society, as a collective. And you can choose which trajectory you want to go on. But if you are watching this, I'll tell you which way we're going. Rather, I'm just confirming what you already know to be true, and that is what was no longer is. And I'm gonna be real, that could be a little scary. That could be a little scary for some people. That could be a little intimidating, because there was this aspect of self. There was this aspect of the way that you as an individual, but also as a society, was being presented, that was still trying to fit or mold into an idea or an illusion of what was already crumbling, of what was already falling apart. It's like you going into a burning building and you're trying to save the clothes and all these things, right? You're trying to save all the things, right? But what's more important, the things are you. The things are your life. If you had 2 minutes, what is most important? Maybe you would check if anyone else was home, right? You probably would already know, but so if the building is already burning, what are you going to do? And this may be the moment where your tools will come in handy. This may be the moment where you might need all the tools to come out. And I'm saying for some of y'all, you're going to discover tools that you never knew were there. And the time is now. The time is now. So in summary, In summary, if this is something that feels like it's hit a little close to home, there's doubts, there's concerns, there's, you know, what am I doing next? Take this as a time to evaluate. Take this as a time to evaluate. And from evaluation, you can then pivot. You can then pivot, and or you can change the complete trajectory of where you were going. Because you have that much power. You hold that much power that if you were going this way and you see that that way is the burning building, you can choose at any moment where you want to go. And if you want to stay in the burning building, you can do that. But no, now you have that choice. Now you can see, oh, look, nothing's burning over there. Nothing is burning over here. Actually, more buildings are being built over here. More buildings are being built over here. Maybe that building needs more inhabitants right now. Just maybe. I feel complete with that. I hope this is exactly what you need in this moment, and just trust, guys. Just trust. We got this.